Time to go live, Michelle.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Guess where we are?
Our tents were.
I've just come back in. I went out to go and get some snacks and things, and only just got back in time, so I'm a little bit hot. You'll excuse me, but I got a couple of nice beers because I know people like it. You just turn that light. Can you turn the big light off? It's a bit bright, and see whether that's better. How's the sound, everybody, and everything? How are you all?
That one?
Yeah, I think that works. It's a bit cozy. Put your little light on as well. It's a bit cozy, isn't it? Just to let you know, it's night time. And hello, Rena.
Rena's in. Byron's in. Hi, Byron.
Hey, Byron. How are you, mate?
And Amy's in, and Sally's in. And who else is in?
So.
Byron says, "How's my buddy Steve doing?"
I'm doing good, Byron. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well, mate. So we are in a hotel, would you believe it? So this is the first hotel that we've stayed in nearly 8 weeks. So Michelle's really chuffed, and so she should be.
Jennifer says, "Oh, what luxury you are in."
I know. She's even got a bath, Jennifer.
Oh, yes, I had a bath. I had 2 baths.
So, and we're drying everything out. It was like a gypsy camp in here a moment ago. Hey Rick, how are you, mate? We had the tent hanging up, and I mean everything drying out, but we've tidied it up. And sorry, it's blowing a gale outside. I'm so glad we're not out tonight, Michelle.
Well, we'll be blowing a gale next time.
We should be out again tomorrow. Don't you worry. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jennifer. She said we deserve it.
We probably do, Jennifer. We probably do.
DJ Me 123 says, "Well, camping again."
Yes. We're good, Amy. Is that Amy?
Yes. Amy says, "How are you and Michelle?"
We are good. We're good. Very good.
And Sally says, "A well-deserved treat."
Well, it's been an interesting week. You've probably noticed from the Instagram stories that I've put up that it's been pretty wet and pretty grim. And Michelle and I were walking down the Pennine Way, and hey Ben, how are you, mate? And it's just been so boggy and wet that we decided the only way we were going to get a reasonable priced modern hotel was to get into one of the bigger cities, and to do that we had to come off the Pennine Way to the Pennine Bridle Way, which is a horse and bicycle. I mean, technically a bridle way is a horse way, but it's actually a horse and cyclist route commonly done, and also pedestrian, because there is pedestrian markers on the way. And we came off and started walking down the Pennine Bridle Way to and by the way, bit of a longer live stream tonight because I've got an internet connection and electricity is in abundance, so we'll go a little bit longer. And it's been interesting. It's gone from being really nice on the Bridle Way to really rough to really nice. And where are we, Michelle? We're in Burnley.
Ben says you haven't given up, have you?
No, we haven't given up. No, of course not, Ben.
This is our first luxury.
This is our first. No, we've stayed with friends. We've stayed with some lovely friends, and camera is blurry.
Yes. But very good, we can hear you.
Okay, let me have a little look and see.
Sue says, "Hi guys, it's blurry."
Okay, let me just.
Hello, you two. Oh, you look nice and comfy.
Is that better? Have I just got sort of?
And Regina says, "Hello, still in Scotland?"
No, we've left Scotland. I think that's clearer, isn't it? Pixelated. Oh, well, I'm sorry. This hotel, much as it's in the centre of a fairly big town, it's actually, but we can't get the 4G from the phone. Let me just see. I might.
Nigel says it's your upload speed. It's pixelated. Yeah, people say it's blurry. It's pixelated, but they can hear us.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, let me just have a little look and see if we've got any 4G at all, but I think not. I don't know why a hotel in the middle of a town should have such poor internet connection, and we've actually got what they call This is the Premier Inn, by the way. So it's a big chain of hotels, and we've actually got the their ultimate Wi-Fi, they call it. So it should be okay.
But it's not too bad. I can see and hear you clearly.
Okay.
And did ANZ 100 said hi? It's George from New Zealand. Great that you guys are back.
Hey George, how are you, mate? So yeah, I'm sorry if it's pixelated. I have actually got.
Bal says all good now. So maybe it takes a little while to get going.
Okay. I have actually got the upgraded Wi-Fi in here because they don't have we don't have a good phone reception for some reason. So we've gone for the upgraded Wi-Fi.
DJ Me says better. Now mine's gone. So the better Wi-Fi in the Highlands.
I can't move around, so it's a room. It's just a hotel room. It's got a bed here. It's got this counter here. It's pretty small. This will just be as good as it gets. I'm afraid we'll just have to roll with it. It could be that.
Depends. It's blurry, but the audio is good, so don't worry about it.
I'm not going to because there's nothing I can do about it, except for answer your questions.
Yes.
Get myself a beer. Look, I've been to the shop and got it's called a mocha beer. And Ben knows I don't drink beer generally, but it's a coffee and chocolate beer. So there we go. I'm going to give that a try. And I've got a second beer as well because I really like the look of this bottle here. If it's blurry, not much I can do, but see the cat's eyes.
Remember, folks, he doesn't drink much.
I don't drink. I'm generally teetotal. But this one is called Old Tom.
It's got a picture of a cat on it.
Look at that. I love the label. It's a little stumpy bottle. It's very strong. It's called Old Tom.
That's the one that says brewed in 2020 or something on it, is it?
Is it?
On the top, what did I say?
Brewed in 2020, so it's a good vintage.
And Sue says a cat. I have 6.
This one is 8.5%. So this one is a little bit strong. This one is only 6%. So this is a chocolate one. What I'm going to do is because I really like the look. The picture looks like you've been drinking.
Yeah, it looks like I've been drinking.
I can't do anything about the picture, so I'm not going to discuss it anymore. We're in modern Britain. Hotels. If I was in Southeast Asia, in Cambodia or somewhere nice sort of third world country like Vietnam, then we'd have 100 megabytes up and 100 megabytes per second down. But we're not. We're in modern Britain, so the best we can get is £5 a night, ultimate Wi-Fi from the Premier Inn.
So Sue says you'll sleep well tonight.
Yeah, we will sleep well tonight.
And Keith says, hi, have you considered staying in Airbnbs?
Keith, we looked at them, but we're not finding the big problem we've had. A lot of people say, well, you can stay in this hotel or this hotel. And you looked at one time also, Keith, that, sometimes you'll find a hotel and you think, well, that's a good deal. And it's, 10 miles to the right of your path that you're going down. Well, 10 miles walking is a whole day. It's, you're only doing about 10 to 15 miles a day. We're getting up to 18 miles a day. But, it's what would take you 5 minutes in a car will take you an entire day to walk by foot, because your average hiking speed is about 2 miles an hour. Michelle and I do actually go faster than that now. Yeah, but if you remember, yes, they are value, the Premier Inns. They're good value hotels.
But they're not too bad. An Airbnb is expensive in the UK. Some of them can be, can't they?
Look, if we stay in an Airbnb at, people often say, oh, they're so cheap, you can get them for sort of £50 or something, which is unusual. Actually, most Airbnbs are more than that, but you can get them for £50. When you think about that, that's 10 days, that's £500, 20 days, £1,000, £1,500, that's 3,000 Aussie dollars for us for Airbnbs. It's expensive, so we don't tend to afford ourselves that nonsense. But,
all clear now, don't move. And Ben says, wow, the picture is very clear now. Maybe our complaints reach Premier Inn.
Maybe my my app is. Let me just have a little look and just make sure.
Yeah.
There's always something. Oh, I don't.
No.
I
So Ben
don't.
says it's quite difficult to find properties on Airbnb without paying often as much as the hotel, especially in picturesque places.
Yeah, and to be
The hotels
honest,
can be expensive, can't they,
yeah,
as
to
well?
be honest, it's
And Sue says you put the tent up. We've been drying it. It has been out, but it's all packed away now.
we've been drying it off too. No, I'm not staying still. I'm going to over. There's a bottle opener over here. I'm going to open.
He hasn't got to move the camera. He can
Michelle can talk to you.
Yes, I can.
I've got a little bottle opener on the wall of the
It's stuck on the
hotel.
wall, so he has to go and get it.
I don't think it's a twist off. So, is there any other sides at all, Michelle? Is that enough?
I think that's it. Either the big lights or
Right, so that'll do.
up there, that little side light there. There you go. You illuminated this. He's in the spotlight.
That's pretty horrible, isn't it? So let's quickly. I'm going to have a little pour out in the glass just to see the colour of this. Okay, so it's a real nice dark ale, which I do like. This is Old Tom, by the way.
Is that the little bottle?
It's a little stumpy bottle.
So Karen says, so happy you are warm and cosy.
So are we.
So are we.
We've also got some Chewits, which I haven't had since I was a kid.
Amy says, enjoy. She's talking about the beer.
And I've also got some pork scratchings. If you don't know what pork scratchings are, it's a very English bar snack. Gordon, how are you, mate?
And I've also got some coconut milk cream.
Oh, over here, I'll pour Michelle. Michelle's got this. It's made by Innocence, and it's a coconut drink. Let me pour you one, Michelle. Do you want a glass?
I will, yes, please. And Ben says pork scratchings, yuck. Oh no, not
Oh,
yuck.
Ben,
No, come on.
I love pork scratchings. I've always been a bit of a pork scratching fan.
The earlier one, I must go back to it before I lost my my connection, but it came back. Byron says the brown stuff in the thumbnail looks like burgers. But I had a look, I think it's the
Oh, the brown stuff in the thumbnail is actually deliberately in the photograph. That was my breakfast this morning here in Burnley. That was my black pudding. Black pudding, which is a very famous part of a full English breakfast that we had this morning. So that was black pudding, basically Byron, it's a black pudding.
Yes.
Very delicious.
So Cheryl says, hey Steve and Michelle, you're dry and warm and comfortable. Yeah, I'm glad to see it. I was getting upset you were always wet.
Oh, who?
Cheryl said that.
We were getting a bit upset, Carol, but we're back in it tomorrow.
Yeah. And Gordon said, did you watch my video I did for you on my channel?
No, I didn't, Gordon, but I'll check it out. Thank you very much. Did you send me a message about it? I don't recall.
And Ben said, don't like black pudding either. I should leave the country immediately. Yes,
Get out
scratchings
your
and black pudding.
pork scratchings.
Sue Fisher says hi from London
Hi, Sue.
in the UK. Because of our London also
All right.
in the world.
Pork scratchings are little poor.
Very nice.
Well, they smell a bit. I haven't smelt them. This is little bits of fried pork skin.
And Eric said, ate any interesting food in the past also?
Many.
Now he won't be able to talk because he'd be crunching on his pork scratchings.
Get back from the. Wow, that's hard.
But they generally are. I think that
Not
probably is
really
not a
that
good
hard.
one for the camera.
Okay,
Put those away.
put those away before I
I bet
break.
they're nice, isn't it?
They're nice, but they break your teeth.
Oh, so be
Really
careful.
hard.
Go for
We'll
chewing.
leave those, go for Chewits. Do you like Chewits, Ben?
Well, like chewing.
God, I like Chewits. I haven't
They smell right.
had a Chewit since I was a kid.
Are they different colour ones?
Yeah, they're a little bit like fruit gums or something, but let me try and remember what they're like.
No, they're like opal fruits, aren't they? Remember opal fruits? Opal fruits? Is that
Opal fruits made to make your mouth water.
right? So, Rita says, question, any planning yet on what comes next after your Jogle walk is complete? We've got to finish it yet.
Well, Rena, we've still got quite a way. If you look on the map, we're in a town called Burnley. It's just above Manchester, and if you look on the map, it's pretty central we've come a long way. It's quite remarkable, actually. It's quite impressive to see how we've gone, but it does still show that we've got quite a long way to go.
So Ben says they're okay talking about the sweets, but I haven't got much of a sweet tooth anymore.
Okay.
Sue said don't eat them with beer.
No, that's probably a good idea there.
Karen says watch your teeth, no filling treatment on the NHS at the moment.
No, they're soft though, Chewits. Look, and squeeze them.
Says crikey, I remember Chewits. That's a blast from the past.
I haven't. Right, they're like chewing rubber with fruit in.
I'm not going to chew mine then if you're chewing at the moment. So Ando's in as well. Says good to see you folks. Greetings from Tucson, Arizona, where it will be 100 degrees again today.
Yeah.
Enjoy your stay and consider looking for hostels along the way. They don't
Again,
always work out that cheap either, do they?
We in nearly 8 weeks of walking, we've probably passed 2 hostels. But if you think about the length of the walk, we've been going for nearly 2 months. In 2 months, we've seen 2 hostels. It's rare. The walk we're doing to stay out of the big cities and things and to keep it off of the main roads is doing all the big walks of Britain. So we've done the John O'Groats Trail, the Great Glen Way, the West Highland Way, the John Muir Way, the Pennine Way, a few other canal walks, Deer Streets and Cuthbert's Way. So we've done a lot of walks, famous walks, but these walks are generally quite isolated, as you see from the snippets I've been putting up. There's nothing along them, and as I was saying earlier on, if you want to sort of find a place, if somebody says to you there's one just sort of 5 miles off the road, even 5 miles there and back is almost a day's walk. Put the big light back on, which I think might make the picture a bit better. It does seem a bit Halloweeny at the moment.
Not quite there. A few more days. Is that better?
Does that make the picture better? I know it sort of makes me a bit washed out, but I think it might make the picture better.
Okay. So DJ Lee says Chewits are filling extractors. They're quite soft as Chewits, aren't they?
Yeah, they're quite soft. I got them today because I haven't had one for a long time.
And Sue John said, did you have dinner?
We had some fish and chips soup, of which we've still got some chips left. We had that beautiful English breakfast. We were actually staying here last night, so we're doing a whole day's rest today. We're having a day's rest and heading off in the morning. So we got here late yesterday, checked in, got ourselves a decent night's sleep, woke up this morning, and we are doing nothing today. We are doing absolutely nothing. We're just chilling, trying to get everything dry, trying to dry out the boots, dry out the socks, dry out the tent,
It's
dry out
drying.
the clothes. Everything's drying.
It's drying. It's drying. So Old School and Pebbles travels.
No purr.
And Orlando says Godspeed the rest of the way. And James says you must have passed 25 hostels. Well, we might have done, but they weren't. And a lot of them were open if we did pass them. No, we haven't actually passed that many hostels, have we?
Who said?
James Roche.
I don't remember seeing them. If you
No.
can point them out to me, we'll walk back up and you can point them out to me. This is the thing, people will say, oh, you're walking down this route. You must have passed this hostel or that hostel. But the thing is, a lot of places are closed. A lot of places that you would ordinarily find open are not open. A lot of campsites are not taking tents without bookings. A lot of campsites are not taking tents at all. I don't want to keep talking about it. I know where we've been. I know what we're walking.
So Susan says, good, glad you're having a rest. And AJ Norfolk Nomad said, well deserved. And Gordon says, have you seen the Stig on your route? Lol.
Only the once, Gordon. I think it was you, my friend. I think you're driving yourself
Changed your
out.
Audi.
You changed your Audi out for a Royal Enfield. Wow, that beer, Old Tom beer, is really strong. I mean, that's thick beer.
That's quite a little dinky waffle.
Can I sit back? I'm really relaxed. I'm going to put my feet up.
There you go, look, he's chilling. He's chilling. We've actually got a chair to sit on.
Ben's had enough of this country. It's a hard country. I think I said in the one of the stories the other day, we were up in the Yorkshire Dales. We're in Lancashire at the moment, We just crossed over into Lancashire, in the Yorkshire Dales, and it was blowing a gale. It was wet and rainy. I could see people living in these sort of houses up on the hills and things, and I just said to them, you know, it's not far to go to Portugal. You can actually move and go somewhere nice and warm. I was only talking sort of tongue in cheek to myself, really, but it's pretty harsh. And Ben, I think everyone's had enough of every country at the moment. There isn't a good place to be. It's you know, you have to make the best of what we have. We'd probably rather be at home in normal circumstances, but it is what it is. You just got to make the best of what you have. I think that's the important thing. I think it reminds me a little bit of the old sort of, I don't know whether it's a Confucius story, but it's a story that I always remember being told and telling, of a young boy that meets a wise man walking across a mountain, and he says to the wise man, he said, are the people in the next town kind and good people? And the wise man said, why? He said, oh, because I found everybody in the last town to be awful, despicable people. And the wise man said to the young boy, he said, I think you'll find the people in the next town equally the same. So it's that sort of thing. You do sometimes have to, I'm the worst for saying that, because I'm probably the most grumpy so-and-so on this walk, and I do get told occasionally, and my daughter said the other day, you know, the posts are a bit grim, but they're just realistic. You know, if it's blowing a gale, it's wet and it's horrible, I'm not going to say, I like to think of myself as a sort of glass half empty sort of person. So in reality, you know, I'd rather hear from people the truth about you know, what the weather and conditions are like.
Close that curtain because I've got something flying, some things coming in.
Ah, things coming in.
Things coming in to bite me.
Getting mosquitoes coming in, midges,
something. There we go.
So how are you all? I know everybody's having a hard time. I feel for you, and I do.
So Regina says a small house with a big garden in the green hills, somewhere surrounded by nature. That's the dream.
A small house?
A small house with a big garden in a green hill, somewhere surrounded by nature.
Well, the real dream is a big house with a big garden, with a housekeeper and a gardener. So
in the sun.
In the sun, in the hill if you like, or on the coast. But yes, you're right. I mean, a small house with a small garden is nice, but you know, you do have to keep the garden together and the house. That's why Michelle and I travel. Oh, this beard has gotten on my nerves a little bit. Yeah. So yes, how are you all?
So Sue said, I'll come and live with you. We could do that. We have a big house, big garden, and everybody could come and all live together.
We stayed in a some years ago when we met our good friend James from Fun Foods, James Lamprey. We stayed in a town like almost a gated community. It was in yes. Palm Springs, yes. in the USA. It was just, we booked this place. It was a holiday place, good value, and we booked this place for a week or so to stay. And I said to Michelle at the time, what a wonderful place it would be to have all your friends living in one of these sort of, you know, maybe just everybody that you get on with living in one of these sort of communities. How cool it would be. But it was hot as well, wasn't it? It was 40 degrees every day.
Yeah, because everybody went there in the winter. We were there in the summer.
Yeah, we were there in the summer, and that's why the price was cheap.
So Keith says, with what one item could you not have gone without so far, and what item could you not have taken at all?
Okay, good question, Keith. One item could we have not done? What essential item do we have?
Yes.
Well, there are a number of essential items, I guess, because you need a tent and you need good bags. But if you're talking about a particular item that's been a bit of a godsend, do Can you think of?
Well, no, because we're down to essentials now, aren't we? We're down
Yeah,
to,
but it's just a pick, and I get where it's
Yeah.
going. It's sort of an item that we
Yes.
would, because any bag will do, won't it? Any tent will do. But what is there a certain item maybe
Well,
that?
I actually like the fact that we can boil water to make a coffee, and
Yeah, I
and,
think
you know, that sets us up for the day, and if
Our-
we're feeling a bit.
yeah.
So after a long walk in the mid-morning, we stop and have a brew, won't we?
Yeah, so I think actually our little somebody sending messages on Facebook. If you're watching this and sending messages, don't please send them while we're doing the live stream. So our little heater for doing hot water and making a coffee. Things that we bought that we wish perhaps, I think, to be honest, I think the one thing I kind of wish I didn't have to do was make videos. It's a little bit sort of a double-edged sword in a way. I enjoy making them, but also I've got to keep making them. And so electronics, it would be nice to actually travel without some electronics.
There's a lot of paraphernalia, isn't there?
Yeah, I think that's the one thing.
I mean, we sent my little laptop back and things, didn't we?
We bought Michelle's little laptop because we thought we might use it. That went back. We posted quite a few sort of bits and bulky pieces. The drone, Keith, we came with the drone, and to be honest, I have we just don't have the power to charge batteries for a drone. Or one piece of equipment I think that I really do like, although it's become completely redundant this last 2 weeks, is my solar panel. It really did charge everything while the sun was there, but actually the last 2 weeks I don't think it's charged an AAA battery. It just hasn't. We've had no sun, so I suppose in one way that becomes two answers really. If you've got sun, it's a great item to have. If you've no sun, it's just a heavy item to drag around with you. Anything you want to add, Michelle?
No, I think you've covered most.
No,
of
you
it.
must have something in your.
That we didn't need to take. Well, I said like my laptop, wasn't it? My time to.
But anything we've got now that is a little bit redundant?
No, because we use most things now.
We talked about.
Can't think of anything.
I'm so washed out now with light. I need to, my makeup starting to. We talked a little bit about you know, things, the boots. You know, we've got these new waterproof boots, and they're good, but when you wear socks with these sort of boots, the socks do get hot and sweaty, so they actually get damp during the day, and then when you take them off and you leave, see, a lot of people will say you've got to walk with boots because, you know, they're walking for the day and they're coming home, but their boots at the front door, maybe with some newspaper and then wearing them the next day. But when you're walking day in day in day in day, does that make sense? They get damp, and then they sit outside your tent and they get very damp. So even though we've started putting them into plastic bags to keep the damp out, they're still damp, because even the best boots, you're sweating. So my feet have become almost so clean, but they become really soft and baby-like during the day. And I kind of prefer sometimes, like today I've been wearing back to my sandals because your feet harden up. So the sandal.
The socks are dry.
And trying to keep your socks dry is quite hard. So I think also one of the things I would like to take on the next walk would be better weather. So
well, Ben says the one thing I miss when travelling is my coffee machine.
We initially, Ben, when we first started, and we've been travelling for nearly 6 years now. We used to say 5 years, but it's getting closer to 6. When we first used to travel, and we have been known to travel with a full espresso coffee machine, the whole trip around Australia, for example, we had a full coffee making machine.
Ben also says Eggy, talking about the Jeep. Do you not wish you would have had Eggy though, Steve? That would make the walking speed up.
That would get the walking speed up, yeah.
We'd be there a few weeks ago.
And we had a big coffee making machine when we did that walk. I used to be a real coffee snob, and I would only have espresso style coffees, and pretty much since I was a teenage boy, the only thing I've ever drank is proper quality sort of espresso type coffees, lattes, espressos, and the likes. Since we've been traveling, our standards have dropped and dropped and dropped. I mean, I can even recall, and I may have told you this story before, there have been places in the world, I think at one stage, parts of maybe I'm thinking it was Mexico, where I've actually eaten coffee grains out of, dried coffee grounds in a glass of water just to get a little bit of caffeine so you don't get a headache. So I've turned to being okay drinking instant coffee. But yeah, that's taken a long time. Coffee standards have dropped.
So Karen says, it's a shame that you're attempting the walk in the autumn now. It's hard enough without the British weather beating you down at your fortitude. And Gordon says, shame you didn't start the walk in the spring. It was a bit difficult because we were stuck in Istanbul.
A lot of people say you're doing it at the wrong time. A lot of people say that to us. The problem is we're not doing it at any particular time. We're doing it at the only time that was afforded to us. We were stuck for 5 months in Istanbul, in Turkey. 4 months in Istanbul with us locked into the city of Istanbul. And then a whole further month we were locked in Turkey waiting for the borders to open so we could leave. And that's when the borders to Australia closed, so we couldn't go back to Melbourne. And then we had this idea that we would go for this big walk, and we just about thought we were on the cusp of being able to do it in the late summer, in August in Scotland, all the way through to sort of early autumn or middle autumn. I mean, winter doesn't start to the 21st, 22nd of December in the UK, but it actually feels like winter now, to be honest.
And we had to have a little bit of time to get equipment together, so it was just trying to get going. We sort of were really on the cusp, weren't we?
Yeah, so we didn't pick the time. It picked us. This is when we can go. I would have loved to. We were going to walk the Camino de Santiago in May. We were locked in Istanbul. There's nothing we can do about it. And the perfect time to have walked this probably would have been about May or June. A lot of people say they don't like walking in the summer heat. We do. We prefer the warmer weather. But I'm surprised because I really don't like cold weather at all. And I'm finding this is, I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay.
So Fifth Caller Record says, hey, what time is it there? I usually miss you guys' streams, but good to see you all again. It's 10:30 a.m. here in Anchorage, Alaska.
10:30 a.m. It is 7:30 p.m. in the evening in Burnley, Lancashire.
So Regina said, once we did a long walk across a desert, we ended up buying army boots from an actual army store. They cost a fortune though. We had the opposite problem with blisters and dry weather. Well,
this is where we didn't have blisters with our sandals. We walked 500 miles in our Keen sandals, and had the weather not just turned to absolute junk and just rain, I would have stayed in my sandals, because we've had so little problems with our feet since we've been wearing these sandals now for nearly probably close to 5 years. Not the same ones, obviously, but the same style of sandals. So there's a lot of people out there that will condone. There's a lot of people that stand by wearing sandals for long distance hiking, and I would fully agree with them. The caveat to that would be really wet weather, where your feet just do not dry out and you're up to your ankles in bog. Then sandals can become a real problem, because if your feet don't dry out, they will start to blister.
Old School and Pebbles Travel says, a mate of mine went to the UK last year in autumn and said it was as cold as mother-in-law's kiss. It can be not cold, and it's not really the cold so much as the wet.
It's the wet and the wind.
Yeah.
I've just been out to get some little bits from the shop, and the wind is blowing out there like it's blowing a gale. I'm hoping tomorrow when we set off it'll be a bit better. So,
and it's a constant wet. So we're wet. We wake up wet. So then the tent's wet and we put it up the next night, and then we're wet, and it's just ongoing, isn't it? Yeah,
this last week it's been unpleasant. You're getting up in the morning, the tent is, you can hear the pitter patter. I used to love the sound of raindrops on a tent, and as a child, I mean, if I had a thing that would send me off to sleep, it would be the sound of raindrops on a tent. And now it just fills me with dread. It's my least favourite sound, because sometimes we've had the sound of raindrops on our tent for 2 weeks on a row, or longer. And all it means is you're going to wake up to a very wet tent. You're going to have to step out in your dry gear. You're going to have to well, we have to pack all our dry clothing away and then put on our wet weather gear before we can get out. So it's tricky. It is tricky.
We're getting good at it.
We're getting good. We can even sort of pack the tent up from inside. So we're packing our bags, and then the inner line of the tent we put down, and then we do the outside skin of the tent last, and just try and chuck it in as quickly as possible.
So Ben says, are you planning to keep going, or are you going to stop before you reach Land's End?
No, Ben, we plan to keep going. The only thing that could stop us really would not be physical exertion, because we're not actually physically tired at all. The biggest problem we're having, and we talked about this, Ben, thank you for your messages, by the way, I do appreciate them, and they're great to listen to as well. Let me think about the questions that you've asked also that I should try to cover here. You did talk about this before, there's no shame in stopping. We don't think we're going to stop, because we don't physically feel tired. The biggest problem we're having is the days get so short. You wake up, we're waking up at sort of 7 in the morning as the sun sort of starts to lighten the skies a little bit, and it takes you have to get up, get dressed, brew a coffee, make a proper breakfast, because if you're going to be walking for 3 hours, you need to get something like a good porridge inside you with raisins and a little bit of syrup or sugar inside it, something to give you some energy, slow release carbohydrates. And then, so it can be, 8 o'clock, 7:30, 9 o'clock sometimes before you can physically get walking, usually probably between 8 and 7:30. But it's going dark again. But if you haven't found a place to stop by 5 o'clock, you're in bother, because if you don't, it can sometimes take you an hour to find a place, and by 6 o'clock, 6:30, it's starting to get dark. So the days are so short, and we often think in the summertime, when it stays light in the UK up until 10 o'clock at night, we would have an extra sort of 3 or 4 hours of walking time. So Ben
said that's part of the problem. The sun sets like at 6 p.m. now, and will be from 5 p.m. as of next week when the clocks go down.
Lord, I know. And it's the days are getting so short, the sun never really gets in the air. This is one of the things that reminds me of how Britain was when I lived here many years ago, just how little the sun stays up. It just sort of arcs across, and so you never really get a full day of sunlight. So that's the only thing. Real bad weather could stop us, but physically we're happy to keep walking, Ben.
So Sue John says, have you been able to wash your clothes while staying there?
Yes.
Yes.
Ask me about it, Sue. Ask me about it. We've done it in. I don't think there's a laundrette here or anything. Anyway, laundrettes are a pain. It means you've got to spend all day in the laundrette, and nobody wants to have a short. We've only got, this is our 1 day of rest. So we get here, we have a night's sleep, we have a full day of rest, and then we get up tomorrow, and the hotels check you out. You've got to get out fairly early. Well, we don't want to go too late anyway, because we've got to get a day's walking. So last thing you want to do is spend an hour or 2 hours in the laundrette. Not that there is one nearby. So we wash all our stuff by hand. Michelle's really good at washing by hand, but I help also. And we've done it in the bath. We've got a lovely.
Yes, we have a bath.
We have a bath. So everything goes in the bath, and I sort of stamp it clean. And that's the way we've done our washing. I've got to have another chewit.
You're eating the chewits. I'm not eating mine, because we'll both be eating at the same time, and then no one will be able to talk.
Really interesting taste.
Yeah, they're good. I haven't had one yet. But they are different colours, aren't they? So,
Mm.
but yeah, it's years since I've had churets. I'm going to drink this coconut milk is actually quite nice.
Any questions? Any questions?
No, no questions. No questions. It's all gone quiet. They're watching you eat your chewet.
Okay. So Sue, yes, we've washed everything.
Yes, Sue says Steve the washing machine. He was very good.
I was.
I got him pounding his feet there.
Had my trousers pulled up. Actually, I was wearing a towel. We had no clothes to wear. We are in a town called Burnley. Have I got that right?
Yeah.
Not Bradley, as I said to the guy
it's
yesterday.
somebody was asking me,
Burnley.
but, and they said, no, I think it's Bradford.
No, we're in Burnley.
Bradford. So Ben says, yes, my question is when your damn borders in Australia are open? We'd like to know too, Ben.
You can go to parts of Australia, Ben,
You can.
but you might not be able to leave.
Oh, no, Ben can't because nationals can.
Yeah.
Non-nationals can't. So, don't know.
Ben, we talked the other day about you going to, going somewhere like Gibraltar. Now, Gibraltar's quite nice. Michelle and I actually went to Sicily 2 or 3 Christmases ago because we thought it would be nice and warm in Sicily, and it wasn't warm at all. It was actually really cold, but it was still delightful and a lovely place to be. So Sicily I can recommend, but it's cold. Gibraltar is small. I've been to Gibraltar quite a few times. You're right, there is problems with the border crossings. The Spanish make it hard for you to leave Gibraltar to go back into Spain. The Gibraltar authorities make it easy for you to come in. So actually driving into Gibraltar is very easy. Driving out, there's a long queue which zigzags and zigzags around and can take you up to an hour or so to get out. But it's just part of the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? The politics between the Spanish and the Gibraltarian government. It's not that bad. I've driven out of Gibraltar maybe 2 or 3 times and been in the queue, which zigzags backwards and forwards through sort of like cordon gates. And it's really friendly, everybody sort of sits and they get out and have sandwiches and chat. There's people that do it every day, so they're really well organized. You can sit and there's people selling coffees and places to buy stuff. So you can sit in that queue for an hour. It's quite pleasant. It's interesting. As I said to you before, though, Ben, there are places on the border. There's a town. Oh, by the way, Gibraltar is right at the bottom of Spain. For those of you that don't know, so if you look at the European continent, Spain comes down to a tip, and Gibraltar is a little island between Spain and Africa and Morocco.
It's not an island; it is attached. It's a little.
So yes, it is attached by a strip of land, which is also. Oh, Tammy's in. Hello, Tammy.
Yeah, she says you're live. Thought I was watching a replay or watching videos trying to catch up. When do you anticipate seeing the finish line?
Tammy, we're getting close. I think Michelle thinks we can do it in a month. In just over a month. So because we're walking faster and bigger distances.
I'm hoping there's going to be less hills.
And she thinks we're on the downward slope.
We're on the downhill slope because we've done all the big hills.
Okay, funny story. This one, Tammy, I'm sure you'll appreciate this. Well, you might not appreciate it, but you might appreciate the humour. So we came over the mountain from Yorkshire into Lancashire. We were in a town called Settle, and we came through a number of smaller towns. We came over the mountain and started to come down, and to get to this little hotel that we're in now, we had to go through 4 villages that are joined together, so they all sort of like mashed together. So as we came down the mountain, we hit a canal, and I love walking canals. I think it's one of the most beautiful walks. They're flat, canals don't run up hills. So we're walking along this beautiful canal line. There's beautiful little boats, really pretty little stone bridges with the reflecting in the canal. There's ducks and there's everything going on. It's just so pretty. And suddenly my GPS, it's not Google, it's a walking app, said turn left, and we went up into the first town of Nelson, and we went up the hill, and then we started going up and down through housing estates, and it was climbing. Michelle and I were so tired. It must have taken us at least an hour and a half to get through these 4 villages. Our feet were sore. We were bruised because of the hard concrete.
We powered it a little bit, haven't we? We wanted to get here.
We also were trying to cover as much land as possible. So we walked through the town without stopping, and it was a good 5-hour walk without any rest. A tiny little rest by a football club, but literally just to have a club biscuit. Anyway, when we arrived, we had a breakfast, a special breakfast. You'll see the photograph on the thumbnail. The girl in the little cafe, the little restaurant we were in, she said, "Oh, would you like to eat that out by the canal?" And apparently we could have walked on the canal all the way down on the flat, instead of up through all the housing estates and up through the sort of hills. So yeah, this hotel is right next to the canal, and it was just, Michelle and I were just like, oh my god, what, we could have stayed on the canal the whole way. So
Brittany says, hey guys, been a while since I've made it to a live stream. Hope all is well.
Hey Brittany, how are you?
AJ Norfolk said, what's your route on the way down roughly?
We're still trying to plan it. We want to try and follow as many canals and rivers as we can. We're staying a little bit on the Pennine Bridle Way. We may rejoin up with the Pennine Way. We're heading towards a walk called the Staffordshire Way. No, the Limestone Way. Pardon me. The Staffordshire Way, the Offersdyke Way, the Severn Way. There's a few others eventually, so they're all different famous walks here in Britain that we'll be going. But I think the first one we're trying to get to at the moment is one called the Limestone Way, and we're not going to be doing the whole way because we join it bits of all of them. So,
Luke Father says, how close to Birmingham will you be going?
Possibly quite close to Birmingham. God, this beer is strong. A bit too strong for me.
And Sue John says, are you going home for Christmas?
We would love to go home for Christmas, Sue John. We plan to go home for Christmas, yes. We want to see our children, and we want to see our families. We want a sort of Christmas with the kids if we can. But, you know, at the moment, the destiny, you know, we can't be sure. So that's any other questions?
James says, no chance in a month. Are you doing the Southwest Coast Path?
Yes, we should be doing the Southwest Coast Path. Whether we'll do all of it, I'm not sure. I still don't really know where these paths are, other than I think that one runs around the Cornish coastline from Bristol all the way down to Land's End. So I would think so, yes. Why Birmingham? Is anyone, somebody by Birmingham?
Yeah, I don't know.
We get quite near the Welsh border. I don't know if we cross into Wales. That would be quite nice.
Yeah, I don't know. It will take us as long as it will take us, but I mean,
We've got some cold chips over here.
We've calculated, you know, about how many kilometres it might be, and we're just going on that, aren't we? And we're doing more kilometres a day. So we'll see.
We're doing quite often over 30 kilometres a day on a whatever that is in miles, and then we maybe drop that down. We're really half almost boggy.
Or if we have to go up really, really, really deep mountains.
But we got the mountains quite well now.
We do actually.
We can walk up steep hills without stopping with those big packs on for half an hour. And just Michelle and I, we've been concentrating on sort of breathing. You just sort of.
Yeah. So Ben said, I recommend you avoid Wales as they're going into a full lockdown from Friday. People are expected to stay at home, sadly.
I think perhaps even Ben, where we are now is in full lockdown. I'm not sure, but we don't take much notice of it, to be honest.
We're passing through to our destination.
Yeah, I mean, when people say to us when we rock up to places, oh, you know, this is the worst place to be. Everybody looks quite healthy and happy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't avoid Wales. If you told me to avoid Wales because there was a massive bushfire there and we're likely to die, I probably would. But if it was because of lockdowns, no. I just don't care. I just, you know, the chances of us contracting or passing something on is like a zillion to one. So that wouldn't stop me. And I don't think anyone's going to stop us from walking through. We're in Lancashire at the moment, Ben. I think, Ben, if I'm right, they've also gone down to lockdown. So you wouldn't notice it to walk outside. It's quite busy.
So Rick says 30 kilometres is 19 miles.
19. So yeah, we're getting up to. We're doing all right, Rick.
And Tim Shelby said, I'm glad you guys are spending an evening in luxury. Keep heading forward. Cheers.
Got my Steve's Kitchen t-shirt on. Share the love.
Well, we've got to say a couple of thank yous, haven't we?
Oh, some thank yous. Yeah, which we had a couple of PayPal payments.
Anne Skelchi and Eleni Siros, thank you.
Eleni Siros and Anne Skelchi, thank you. There were some PayPals, and we also had a new Patreon come in. Bernie Mayer, Meyer. Bernie, thank you very much for joining us on Patreon, and thank you. It does mean a lot to us, as I've said to you all before. It really helps. In some instances, it might even encourage us to stop in a place like this if we get a bit extra. So thank you for that.
So Tammy says, is finding places to use the bathroom a challenge?
It can be. Tammy, come on, keep those questions coming. Keep us on our toes. Those questions are cool. Yes. To be honest, you can go in. You know, there's a bear crap in the woods. Yes, you can go almost anywhere, but there are times when it could be quite challenging, particularly maybe for Michelle. But so far, we've fine. You know, we've done nearly 8 weeks of traveling, and we have been to the toilet a few times over that period, and generally it's not so difficult. I won't go into full details, but we never leave stuff behind. We never are disrespectful to the country that we're traveling through, obviously.
Ben says, look, Steve, you're going to need to answer the question about how you both handle the issues of going to the potty. We do.
Well, Ben, the simple answer is
we handle it.
You know, you make your own toilet.
Yeah.
You dig a hole.
We have a spade. Little trowel. So, John, sorry.
That's the way. You know, it's very natural. There's nothing particularly odd about it. You just have to go. Obviously, when a guy needs to go for a pee, it's quite easy, isn't it? Particularly if you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, because I always have to take my pack off. It's a bit of a bind. But apart from that, Sue John says, someone asked me the other day, how many people do you know with COVID? Don't know anyone. So there you go.
Well, yeah, and a politician recently said he knew lots of people, but actually, watch this. There's a girl on Talk Radio. A lady does a radio show on Talk Radio. Hartley Brewer, somebody. She's quite interesting. Quite interesting if you're on the British side of the political scale. Don't watch the idiot box, the TV. It will never do you any good watching the television. It will taint you, and we've seen the fear of God put into people around this system. So yes, let's not go there. So how many? Why are my chewits all purple?
I don't know. I've got 2 pink ones, a purple one, and a yellow one.
I want some more colours.
Some more colours.
I've got them all now. Yellow one.
So James says, mine head to Land's End is 21 days. Good luck. Look, it will take us as long as it will take us, James, but I think we're doing pretty well.
Minehead to Land's End.
I know.
That sounds no. 21 days. That can't be right.
No. So, Karen says, looking forward to the future.
Minehead to Land's End. How many kilometres is that, James?
I'm moving on to the next question.
Go on.
Karen says, looking forward to the future. What is your plan for life? Big question, but I can't see you working 9 to 5.
No, I stopped working 9 to 5 in my 30s, my late 30s, really. I moved. It's a big story. It's a complex story. But I've chosen to get off of the ladder that a lot of us live on many years ago. Well, in my mid 30s, so 4 or 5 years ago. It's something one day I'll talk to you about, but you can choose in life. What do we want to do with our lives? We want to, I have a saying in life, if you don't enjoy the path you're on, then don't be on that path. And a lot of people say, well, that's easy for you to say. Actually, it's a lot easier to do than it is to say. But it's more complicated for a lot of people, but only as complicated as you make it.
So Ben says you need to eat them all now, Steve. That's your talk about chewits. And also he says, don't forget, Steve, once you reach Land's End, you need to walk all the way back to Scotland. Well, we will, Ben, if you come with us.
That's that, Ben might.
I know. Hi, Dean. Dean Platt says, hi, Steve and Michelle. I see you're now staying in a hotel. I hope all is well with you both.
We're not staying in a hotel. Well, we are. No, we are staying. That makes it sound like we're living in a hotel. We're just having a rest. We're having a day's rest, Dean. We're back on the grisly, mizzly, pizzly road tomorrow. And hopefully, I'd be eating some pork scratchings if they weren't like bricks.
Yeah. So Ben says, yeah, I stopped the 9 to 5 late last year and work with clients remotely now. Best decision I've ever made. One positive out of COVID is that more people have realised they can do their work remotely.
Yeah. I had that eureka moment in my mid-late 30s. It's complicated. I would say it's complicated, but actually a great deal simpler than you might believe. And if anybody had as many barriers to doing what we did, I'd be surprised. There are many reasons to live an alternate lifestyle, but yeah.
So Dean says, welcome to the UK weather, I'm afraid.
Dean, thank you. You are welcome to the UK weather.
Yes.
You can keep it because
Yes.
it's not for me.
Yes, we'll stop doing that rain dance because we've had enough of the rain.
Michelle and I just wish, the last week or 2 weeks, we kind of just wish the British weather people in Britain would be saying, oh, it's unusually hot for the time of year. We've never had so much sun, and it's just not happened.
No.
It's just been miserable and wet.
We've done with that nice late Indian summer.
Yeah.
It's been beautiful, never mind.
And Rick, I don't know if you're still there, but Rick's put a video up recently. So we've had a lovely hot weather, and I was so jealous because, you know, the day that Rick down in Swindon in the south of England was having that lovely hot weather, Michelle and I were probably sort of nailed to the side of a shed somewhere in Scotland, trying to sort of beat back the wind and blizzards.
So is it, Rick says here, hi, still here.
Rick, you remember you said we're having a really hot weather, and you
Yeah,
were.
as Ben said, it was very sunny and warm in late September in the south, while it was rainy and cold in Scotland. And Dean said you should both be extremely proud with all that you have achieved so far with your walk.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, buddy. Well, we just hope that there's going to be I would just like a week of sunshine. That's all I would like.
We're hoping for a little few
I'll take
weeks warmer
snow
as we
and
go
everything
south.
else. I'll take snow and everything else after that, but I would like a nice, steady week of sunshine. That would be quite pleasant, even though the sun basically just about creeps. So if you see that bed's there, the sun comes up, it comes up, so that bed head that's just there above Michelle's head, the sun comes up in Britain just about that high. It comes along and it goes down just about there. So it's not up there that long. everyone's saying hello to you, Rick. If you haven't checked out the Rick Van Man or the Rick Van Man Variety channel, do, because he has got acres and acres of stuff going back a millennia.
Karen says, yes, I'm afraid that's why Brits abroad get such a bad rep. They see the sun and go crazy.
Yes. We are British also, although we're technically, we consider ourselves Australian. We still have British accents, I guess, but we consider ourselves Aussies, and we love the Aussie weather. But when I'm outside of Britain, I always sort of lament the sort of, or fantasize those beautiful, warm summer days that they get here in the UK.
I mean, there's nowhere lovelier than Britain in the sun.
Yes.
I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous.
The only thing is, it's just 3 days a year, so it is quite. The rest of it is just.
Yeah, and you can never quite predict when the sun is going to come.
I love the fact that Chewits are round as well now. They used to be square.
Oh, stop it! You can sit and making it.
They didn't. They used to be square when I was a kid. So Chewits are now round. That's quite interesting. The ones that are not, long and flat, like this.
So Dean says, he's a great guy. I watch Rick when he posts a new video. I enjoy watching you and Rick, as you are one of the best YouTube has to offer.
Oh, thank you, Dean.
Ben says, you almost fooled me, Steve.
What do you mean, Ben?
And Rick says, we Brits live to see the sunshine, but we can quickly grow tired of it if it gets too hot.
It's like people saying to me, thank you, Dean. People saying to me how cold it was up in Scotland. We were walking, I think it was in Dornoch or Donnock, one of those towns around there. We were, it was on when we came off the A9 one time, and there was a little row of houses, and this guy came out in a sort of, it was like Rabsy Nesbitt.
Yes.
Like he came out in a vest and shorts. It was bloody cold. It wasn't Dornoch. It was down near the Bothy on the waterfront.
Yes, it was.
And I don't remember the name of the town. And I remember this Scottish guy who was outside his house. He said, "Lovely weather." He said, "I love the weather we've been having," or something. I can't remember. Great weather. And I thought, it's bloody freezing. There's nothing great about it. And then it was like blowing a gale. The wind was coming down sideways. Those Chewits are round.
They're very soft.
Look, take one out the packet just so I can prove to you they come out the packet round. Then there you go, round one.
Mandy of Merry Mac says, hi all.
Hi Mandy.
And Dean says, yes, I totally agree, as I personally don't like it when it's too hot, as I am more of a winter person, as I have a bad health condition that affects my chest.
Say something else while
Say something else while you chew on your Chewits.
Millie Molly Mandy, sweet as sugar candy.
So Dean says, hey Rick, when are you posting a new video?
Yes, Rick, when you're posting a new video.
Ben says, yes, Rick, when's the new video coming?
Rick, when's the new video coming?
When's the new video coming, Rick?
Rick, when's the new video? We want a life update from you tomorrow. The problem is, Rick at the moment has got a great deal of low self-esteem because he thinks that making a video about Rick is not what we want to see. And that is exactly what we want to see.
Absolutely.
We want to look into Rick World and just hear him rambling on about the nonsense he's been up to for the last week, and we're quite happy to. That's what everybody likes, Rick. That's what it's about. Look at the rubbish.
What I can do.
Thank you, man. Look at the dribble I'm talking this evening. I'm going to get off this very, very strong beer.
Ben said, especially a video rambling on about the warm weather in September that Steve didn't enjoy.
Yeah, I would say I'm getting to the bottom. Look, there's only about a trickle left.
Also, Brenda says, hi Steve, hi Michelle, I just got finished peeling my carrots and turnips and potatoes for roasties as I'm roasting a piece of pork for dinner tonight.
G'day, Brenda. Beautiful. Well, I'm going to try this coffee mocha beer
Well, Mandy of Mary Mac said that bed looks comfy. It's very comfy, Mandy.
It's very comfy.
And yes, we'd love to see more Rick videos.
Yes.
See Rick, everybody wants to see your videos.
Everybody wants a little bit of Rick.
And Dean says, I love his travels when he goes camping.
Exactly. I'm going to rename this video the Rick Van Man Chit Chat video. Rick, do you know, I wish we could sometimes put up another wall here. Rick could come on. Oh no, Rick doesn't like doing live.
No.
You're going to do live with me again, Rick, one day.
Yes.
Rick and I. I'm going to crack open my mocha. This, by the way, let's have a little look. Stop talking about Rick all the time. He's
smiling.
He's such a vanity. Coffee, chocolate, beer.
Crack open the mocha.
Brewed with Arabica coffee and Belgium chocolate. Look at that. No, I'm not lying. Brewed with Arabica coffee and Belgium chocolate. What a waste of chocolate. That's never going to have chocolate flavour in it, is it? Let me crack it open and see. I've got to go over to the wall again. Yeah. I'll leave you with that.
It's stuck on the wall.
The lovely Michelle lounging on a bed.
Oh, yes. I've got the comfortable seat.
Okay. We've got to finish the...
So Rick says you go steady on that beer if it's 8%.
8%, Rick. Look at it. It's only a little. It's only half a bottle, really. It's almost a wolf, Rick. It's a cat. So let's have a look. This is chocolate and coffee. Let's put a bit in a glass first. I'm not going to drink out of this. I guess they poncy little glass. Is that rude?
So Sean said, he says, you must have had a lot to drink. All I can see is pixels.
Sean, don't start about the pixels. We've got bad internet. Watch in the beginning. I've got the £5 extra Premier in deluxe Wi-Fi. The whole building is being built with LED, so none of my SIM cards work. We've got the 3 network. We've got the EE network. None of them are working.
Nothing works.
Because they built the whole building out of LED.
So you've got.
So they can sell you a £5 a night luxury Wi-Fi connection, and even with that, it's rubbish.
So Rick said that's almost special brew territory.
Get in there, isn't it? Let's have a look.
Ben says Steve doesn't drink. How many times do I have to repeat it?
I don't actually. I'm not. If you haven't been watching, Ben, I'm spitting. I've got a spittoon down here. Look, it's full. Oh, I can't lift it. It's so heavy.
It's so full.
So I'm not actually swallowing any of this.
So Sean says, upgraded your tent. You've got to watch it from the beginning, Sean.
Sean, you can't come in halfway through. Sean.
Rick says, yep, he's completely pixelated.
Look, this is the Minecraft edition of the Owens Steve's Kitchen Show. This is Minecraft. I am actually a little Lego character. So behave.
Yeah, so Sean says it's going back to the start and watch it on 2x speed.
Wow, it does smell like chocolate.
Does it?
Yeah.
Love Life says, hi guys, I hope you guys doing great. We admire you for all the videos. Keep posting and all the power to you guys. Keep going.
Thank you. Who was that?
That was Love Life.
Love Life.
Brenda says the internet's not so good as my screen is very pixelated.
I'm sorry. I can't do anything about it.
Ben said, did you upgrade to the non-pixelated
I'm paying £20
package?
a month for Wi-Fi for the EE. I'm paying another £18 a month for the Wi-Fi for the 3 network. I'm paying £5 a night for the Premier in upgraded Wi-Fi, and I still can't get anything. God, it's costing me nearly £100 just to make this live stream, and you're all moaning about it.
So Mandy of Merrimack says, have you encountered any wild animals during your travels? We're having a bear problem around here.
It was a bear problem last night. Michelle and I were bear. This is quite chocolatey.
No, we've not really encountered any problems with wild animals.
Oh, we had up on the West Highland Way one night, and I've got video of it, although it won't probably come out. It'll be quite pixelated, so that'll be another Lego experience because it was quite dark. We had a deer right outside the tent, and literally 10 feet from the tent, and it was just chewing the grass.
Yes, we were only on a little bit of nice green grass.
We were on a little bit of green grass, little up in the Highlands of Scotland, or the borders. No, Highlands, Midlands of Scotland, and I could hear this sort of. And when I opened the zip in the tent, the deer was staring at me, and it wasn't bothered. It wasn't frightened. So we've had that. We've had a mouse eating our little rubbish bag. We always carry our rubbish with. We had a mouse going through our rubbish, or a squirrel, perhaps.
Yeah.
And we've had lots and lots of spiders and bugs and things in amongst ours. Nothing really.
No. So Rick said, yeah, include Minecraft edition in your keywords and you'll get a whole new audience.
Can you imagine, Rick? It wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be to good effect, I don't think. A lot of angry children sort of saying, no, no Minecraft in this.
So Mandy said, did the deer snort at you? No, it just completely ignored us, didn't it?
No, it said, all right, Steve. And I just exchanged a few politenesses with it. It was lovely. It was a deer. We've had sheep outside chewing right next to my ear. You can hear them sort of chewing. We've had the odd animal that you can't see, so we've heard animals come very near to the tent. But the worst you're going to get in the UK is maybe a badger or a squirrel.
We had the time when we were in the bottom of the field where we heard something knock the tent and you wonder what it was.
That was a dog.
That was just a dog.
That was the dog that went past and knocked the tent. So no, there are not really very many. We are going through what is the famous moors down in the West Country where the Hound of the Baskervilles, I think, was from. So we might see a wild black dog down on the moors towards the west of England. Dartmoor?
I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say.
Yeah, I'm thinking Dartmoor or one of the moors.
Get my geography wrong.
Yes.
You'll be in trouble.
So no, nothing really too serious. I don't think there's much can harm you in the UK. You might get a nasty nip from a squirrel.
Yeah.
This is rather nice. So okay, let me give you the taste because I've told you what it's like. So the smell is like, I don't get coffee, but you could get chocolate. I do get chocolate, so it's got a chocolatey sort of smell, but the flavour's not there. And the taste is almost like a dark toffee, like a caramelized dark toffee, almost like not a molasses, but more closer to a treacle sort of flavour, a little bit smoky, a little bit dark. So that's quite nice. Mocha. Yeah, I suppose a little bit. The bottle actually has got a picture of a cappuccino, so some latte art on the top there.
So Rena says, cheers to you. I just brewed a cup of strong coffee here, 3rd cup today.
Oh, Rena.
And Wakeula's son says, well, the pixelation makes you both look like you've lost some weight.
Looks like we've... I'll have you know I have lost weight.
Do you feel stronger these days?
A lot
Yes.
stronger. Though I didn't feel weak before, but I do. We do find that our packs feel lighter.
Yeah. We don't really feel the packs now, do we?
No, well, we do when we go uphill. Yeah, that can be pretty hard.
Well, actually, to be honest, it's quite often it's coming down the hill that's quite hard,
Actually,
isn't
the
it?
downhills hurt more.
Yeah.
And actually, it's only since we got our new boots that my ankles are getting sore, because I think what happens in a boot is, to me, I actually think a boot, it supports the ankles on the side, but it actually makes your ankles weak because they're pretty hard on the side of these boots, and they bruise a little bit your ankles from the sort of rocking from side to side. And after some time, that will get better, of course. Dartmoor, is it? Thank
Brenda was
you.
saying Yorkshire, but it's not the Yorkshire
No,
ones.
we've done the Yorkshire Dales.
Dartmoor. Anyway, down south somewhere.
Down south. There is a famous moor below Bristol, I think. I think it is Dartmoor, but there might be another name. You can check it for me if anyone has a chance. So the chewits are a bit boring. I've got to have another pork scratching. I know it's noisy.
Yeah, we'll make sure we sat well back because it'd be very noisy. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Save me some.
Is that really noisy?
Well, it's quite noisy. So Brenda said East and West Ridings.
We just crossed over this beautiful old sign, an old stone sign, saying West Yorkshire to East Riding.
Yeah.
That's where we were a couple of days ago when we went past Tan Hill. Now Tan Hill, by the way, is the highest pub in Britain, not just in England but in the whole of Great Britain. And we went in there about maybe 4 or 5 days ago. I was hoping to do a live stream from a pub, from the highest pub in Britain. But first of all, it was one of these stupid pubs which you're up on the top of a mountain. So you're up on the very top of a mountain. There's a pub there. You've got no reception whatsoever. There's no telecom reception. And in order to use their Wi-Fi, they want you to fill out a form. So you log on, you fill out a form, put in your name, blood type, mother's maiden name, grandparents, shoe sizes. You put it all in, and it said, we'll now send you a text with your code so you can go on the Wi-Fi. And I'm thinking, well, you can't send me a text because your stupid pub is in the middle of nowhere and there is no reception. So you sit there waiting for a text. Then you go back and it says, well, don't worry, we can send you an email with the code. So you log on and you just sit there saying, you are so stupid. You can't send us an email. You're in the middle of nowhere. You can't text us. You're in the middle of nowhere. Give us Wi-Fi for crying out loud. So I went and I bought a beer in the highest pub in Great Britain just to sit and have a chat with you all, and we couldn't get on the internet. So it was quite frustrating.
The Moog father says Bodmin Moor for the beast.
Is it Bodmin Moor? Is Bodmin Moor just below Bristol, down towards Cornwall?
We don't know, do we? Sue says, got to happen now. See you later. Happy
Bye, Sue. We're going to do a longest one tonight, Sue, because we can. Be the longest chat.
Ellis says, should keep your beer caps. I'm sure there will be a story behind each one. Because you don't have many beers, have you?
We've got a story behind. You know, when we start talking about some of the places we've stopped, there is a good story to be had. Lots of good stories.
Want to top my drink?
Not really.
Yes, please.
Sorry, Sue. Give that a little shake. So this is Michelle's having coconut milk, but it's quite nice. It's it's like a milky sort of coconut, no sweetener in it at all, and it's got a little bit of rice milk in it, and a little bit of spring water. So basically, it's water.
Water with a bit
of coconut. But it tastes quite nice.
Milk.
I had a little sip, so it is quite nice. And this mocha beer is quite nice as well. Yeah, mocha or mocha, M-O-C-H-A.
So Wake Cooler Sand says no foxes.
I've seen a few foxes, but there's not a lot of foxes, to be honest, and we've seen a few red squirrels, which look very pretty. We saw a grey squirrel today when we were walking just outside the hotel. There's a lot of grey squirrels next to the canal. So no. We see a lot. We posted on Instagram a little picture of a red robin because we always sort of fantasize it's the same red robin following us all the way down from Scotland, but of course it's not. But
we know it's not.
We know it's not, but it's nice to think it's been following us.
Yes, been coming on with us.
So camping has been interesting. Actually, when we got, let me tell you about England and camping. A lot of people say once you leave Scotland, because in Scotland you're entitled to camp almost anywhere without it's almost completely unregulated. You're entitled to, because of the right to roam laws in Scotland. In England, they say you're not allowed to camp anywhere because the laws are fairly strict. But in reality, we found it quite easy to camp, but we do find it quite easy to camp. We've not been troubled by people at all.
No.
Yeah, so that's good.
So Rick says, I'll be heading off in a little while, meeting up with some pals in virtual reality.
Good. That's right, mate. It is a bit of a long one. I'm going to go for an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45. So I don't expect you all to stay around for the whole time. But if you're watching this later on the replay, you can always post your comments, and maybe tomorrow Michelle and I will see them after we've had a sleep in a comfy bed.
Well, then we're very comfy in our little tent, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
Yes,
we are comfy.
we're quite used to our little tent now.
So, any other questions, or should we start to wrap up?
How many thumbs up have I got?
35 thumbs up, so
Okay.
not too bad.
Not too bad.
We can still always do with a few more.
Always give me a few more. I don't mind really. Yeah, we've got to make sure we pack everything up that's been out drying. And
Give me a question that gets us rolling. Just another 5 or 10 minutes. Give me some skillful wordsmith questions. Somebody out there.
Rick said, don't forget your thumbs up shout out.
Yes.
Give me some thumbs up.
Thumbs
now.
up for Michelle, please. Thumbs down for me. I'm sure, Rick, that it does some. Rick's gonna actually. You've got the new Oculus Prime, the new headset. Has it arrived? I think you said it had. I can't remember now. Yeah, so Rick's into very much into the virtual reality headsets, and there's been a new Oculus headset, I think. So Rick's having a play with it. I think he's
Oculus Quest 2. Yes.
Yes, man.
So Ben says, if you're able to get back to Australia next month when you reach Land's End, I would like you to travel back to Australia immediately, because I doubt we want to stay here into our winter. Well, we want to get back for Christmas.
We want to get back for Christmas. Ben, a little bit. It's down to, at the moment, you can buy tickets to go to Melbourne, but they can't honour them. So there's always a caveat on buying tickets at the moment. COVID, blah 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 blah. So probably the best we can do is buy even if we buy a ticket to halfway across, there's no guarantee we can even go to those countries. So
Rick says, worst case scenario, you have to cook Christmas dinner here. No.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Rick's always been a solid stalwart. You know, he's been there for us. Lovely guy. Really appreciated having our back all the time.
Absolutely.
Rick, thank you very much. Was that a question I saw from Rena?
Yes, Rena, offbeat question. Did you ever come across any wild lettuce? I remember you bringing it up once, mentioning how it helps one to sleep better. That intrigued me, but I've yet to research it.
It's a fact, Rena. It's certainly the old wild lettuces were, I've said before, when you break a lettuce, you see the older lettuce, you see like a white liquid come out of the.
Opium?
It's an opiate. It's a type of opiate, and I think I said to you that the Roman soldiers, the legionnaires, used to eat lettuce the night before a fight, a battle, so they slept well. Yes, we've seen sorrel. We've seen quite a bit of sorrel, which is a sort of wild lettuce. It's there's quite a lot of sorrel out there, but you know, it's hard to sort of just sit and munch down on a big.
Just munching sorrel.
Sorrel is really nice if you add it to a really nice bowl of lettuce.
It's got a bit like a rocket.
It's a bit like a rocket. There's quite a bit of wild sorrel out there. So yes, we have seen that, but sorrel hasn't got a great deal of opiates in it, I don't think, though I could be wrong.
So Rick says, no worries, guys. Thanks for Rick.
All right.
And Jennifer says, have you got your food packed ready for the next couple of days, or will you buy it on your way tomorrow?
Would you like to see what we have? Okay. I will show you just a second.
And Rena says, I hope you have a late checkout. Well, we don't actually want to be too late.
No, we don't want to be too late, Rena, because if we go late, the later we go, the days are so short.
The less we walk.
We'll be looking for a place to camp before we even get out. So,
What have we got?
because they're good, peanuts are always good for a journey. Just to snack on, they'll give you lots of protein.
Eat them on the go.
If they're covered in smoky barbecue coating, they've also got lots of sugar, carbohydrates, salt, which is good for your body when you're walking.
None of this is going to be any good.
So, honey roasted peanuts as well, snack food. We have bought some porridge that actually is, it's a newer pack of porridge, but we keep it in the same plastic bag. The little cinched top on there so that we can actually stop it from spilling all over. It's one of those little clips, you know, that hold the porridge in the packet. This is actually the famous Scots porridge, but it's in a co-op bag. Can't remember the name of the porridge, but it's one of those good ones. So in the morning,
It was a Quakers.
Quakers porridge. So in the morning, we have in our backpacks, just a second, because I can do this, why not?
Yes, because he can walk around
Because I
without
can
moving
walk
you
around.
guys, so it shouldn't get any more pixelated. He's searching in my bag, so you might not find it.
Okay, it's getting exciting now. Listen. So these are our little silicone bowls, and they've got a little lid on them, clips off,
Which is very important.
which is important for one reason. They pop open like so into a little bowl, which I think you've seen us eat out
Yeah,
before.
baby food bowls,
Baby
that's
food
right.
bowls.
Yes.
I put some porridge in there in the morning with some hot water and a teaspoon of powdered milk, a handful of seedless raisins, and a little bit of, only because I've got it, it's a little bit of syrup. It's a maple syrup. We pop the lid on, seal it, because now it's actually airtight, and the pressure in there just helps the porridge cook. That's our breakfast.
That's how you cook porridge in a tent.
It doesn't need to be cooked or heated, you're just using the hot water virtually. We have 3 packs of ready cooked. This one is Uncle Ben's, but it's not all Uncle Ben's. This one is Thai sweet chili. Now we will eat this straight from the packet. Just tear the top off and eat this. It gives you lots of good carbohydrates.
You usually share a pack, don't
We
we?
usually have half a pack each because there's too much in there, so we just sit there and have half a packet each. So we've got 3 packs of that.
So Rick says, whenever I was hiking with the ATC, they always recommended carrying dried fruit, sultanas, etc. for energy.
Yeah, they're good, Rick. Very good. We've got a tilde, a mushroom one. I always like to get a packet of hobnobs or caramel chocolate biscuits, because when I'm really feeling an energy drop, an oatmeal chocolate biscuit. There is a recipe for making these on the Steve's Kitchen channel, by the way, if you wanted to make them fresh. If you know how to hobnob before, I can show you how to make them completely. Maybe Michelle can put the link for that.
Jennifer said that sounds lovely and nice, lots of nuts too.
This very small bar of chocolate, dairy milk chocolate, which just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Have you seen that one before?
We've never seen it before. Look at the size of this ridiculous thing. What? Can't remember what. So it's peanut and caramel crisp chocolate.
That
Now,
will last a long time.
That will last at least half a day. So that's just a little bit of sugar belt if we start to feel a little bit
Thank you, Ben. You put the recipe up for me.
tired. Thank you, Ben. The seedless raisins that we talked about. So that's one bag. That's what I would be carrying. And so you can see then, Rena.
Saving my Wi-Fi, Ben. Ha ha.
Thank you.
The other one seems to become a single block.
We have, oh yeah, you can't see very well. We have some chicken and mushroom pies, which we can eat without cooking or heating. That's another
I think when we go shopping, we buy pies, and that's usually our
lunchtime meal.
first meal, isn't it?
Yeah. We have some, this which we'll put into a Ziploc bag. This is potato, powdered potato. It's called Smash. It actually used to, from when I was a kid, taste really rubbish, but it does taste quite good now, and that will make at least 4 meals. So, because what we will do is we'll make Smash, and then in with the Smash, we will add some tin fish. So tin fish, we get oil, we get your omega-3 oils, and fish is really good for you. So we'll put that in there.
And salt and pepper.
We've got some fruit, snack on the road, some apples, some easy peel tangerines, which are really nice. These are really nice. And then on top of that, we have some little snack bars also to eat. That is enough food for 2/3 days of walking. So in the next 2 or 3 days, we will have enough food for our walk to give us enough energy, and we will have to look at some point to buying extra bits and pieces. On top of that, we have 2 water bottles with about 75 mils of water. We have some bladder bottles in our backpacks with 2 litres of water, because each time you make a cup of coffee, you use almost 3/4 of a litre of water. So that's what we've got.
Rick wants to know where the Kendall mint cake is. We ate it, Rick.
We ate it, Rick.
We ate it.
Kendall mint cake is gone. That was lovely. That was an emergency ration that Rick gave us. Yeah.
Ben says, is that the oranges you were given by that lady?
No, it's not, but it was the
Janet gave us
catalyst.
oranges.
Janet gave us, no, that was a few days ago.
We've eaten all those,
we
and
ate
we've had
those,
more.
and we've had more. And since Janet gave us those tangerines, they were so good that we've been buying them whenever we can see them in the shops, because they're quite nice at the moment. So
Yeah, because we bought some before and they weren't that nice, so we stopped buying them, but now they're nice
Yeah.
again. And weight cooler Stan said, what's the weight of your backpacks from when you first started and the weight of your packs now?
we don't know because we haven't been able to weigh them. We think they're around about 15 kilos each at the moment. Michelle's will be about maybe a kilo less than that. Mine might be a kilo more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know, we haven't weighed
We
them.
don't know. But to be honest, we don't struggle with the weight of our bags.
Jennifer says, I love those tins of fish. They are good.
Tin fish is really good.
All the oils and everything.
Even, and normally we buy tins of baked beans as well because they really are very good. The protein's in there, the sugars that they have in the beans, and the tomato sauce. So you're getting good protein, sugars, carbohydrates, and the amino acids that you need for your body are in a tin of Heinz baked beans. And we quite often will mix that with the smash and the fish, and that is one of our favourite foods. Sounds pretty disgusting.
Rick says, how do you cope with sticky fingers when eating tangerines on the
go? When you're as dirty as we are, Rick, when you're on
wet grass, sometimes
wet grass, yeah. You've just wrapped up a tent covered in sheep crap. Your body is naturally cleansing itself. To have the smell of oranges on your hands is quite a pleasure. It's almost like having the fresh sort of like eau de cologne. Goes very quickly. Yeah. So
Jennifer says lick them clean, Rick.
Yes, it's actually really nice when you've had a tangerine and you've got that little smell on your fingers. It doesn't last long. It soon starts smelling a little bit like lamb crap.
Rena says, well, much more than I could have imagined.
Was it, Rena?
We've just been shopping, so we're really topped up.
Yeah, we're topped up.
We're down to nothing.
So it's nuts, chocolate, biscuits, sadly, carbohydrates by way of rice, One thing's really interesting. Here's something that Michelle and I noticed, and this will come up in our bigger story eventually. We decided at one stage to make sandwiches. So we bought a whole loaf of white bread. Could have been brown, could have been anything, but we bought a nice loaf of bread. We turned the whole loaf into ham, cheese, and pickle sandwiches because at one stage we had a ham, cheese, and pickle sandwich. Friends of ours made it for us, and it was so nice to have. We thought, oh, we'll make a whole batch of them out of a loaf. So we made this big thing. It weighed about 2 kilos because it was full. It had a whole jar of Branston pickle in it. It had 2 packets of ham in it. It had a whole block of 500-gram block of mature cheddar cheese. So it was like a brick hanging off the back of my backpack. And we thought this is going to be so good. So we had our first sandwich the first day, and it was all right. It wasn't as great as we imagined it to be. Then the next day we had to have sandwiches again, and we were sick of them. We were so bored of these sandwiches. But what the story is here, they lasted us way too long. It was the worst decision we ever made. But what we also noticed is that bread itself gives us no energy at all. Whenever we have a sandwich or anything bread related, we tend to find it just saps our energy, and we actually don't feel any benefits from it at all when we're walking. If we have rice or nuts or even smashed potato or mashed potato, it really gives us, or oatmeal, it really gives us good slow release carbohydrates, and we feel full of energy. But every time we have anything bready, when we're walking, we feel tired, lethargic and heavy and slow. So what does that tell us? It tells us that basically bread doesn't really release. We both feel the same. It doesn't give you a good release of energy. It makes you tired, it makes you heavy, and it makes you sleepy. So that's what we're discovering.
Moog Father says, I like a type of crispy fried onions in mash.
Yeah, there's all sorts of ways. We keep chucking all sorts of things in the smash, in the mashed potato to make it. One of our favourite things is actually baked beans. It just really adds good flavour, and it stops it being quite so dry.
So Ben says, what, even Simmet, Steve, are you sure? Well, the Simmet was lovely because we didn't have to walk after it.
Simmet was lovely, Ben. It was Simmet with beautiful feta cheese, but we just sat around all day getting fat and lazy and just basically just enjoying Simmet. I don't think it gives you. I'm almost certain that,
as Rick says, empty carbohydrates.
Useless carbohydrates. There's something wrong with bread, and I think that goes. I mean, we talked about this with other people, maybe using different types of flour. But at the moment, we are finding bread gives us no energy whatsoever. Your bodies are not converting it to energy. Now, it's interesting that the one time Michelle and I lost a lot of weight many years ago was when we cut bread out of our diet. So if I had any suggestion for you, bread's not a good energy source. That's as we find it anyway. And yet, it's delicious. It's one of, like you said, Ben, Simmet, fresh bread. It is great, but I think you've got to really moderate the amount of bread you eat. If I'm honest, I think it's complicated. We'll talk about it some more. We might do some more studies.
So Root Father says dates stuffed with walnuts are sold in Morrison's if you pass one great marching snack. Yeah, past the Morrison's, haven't we?
No, I haven't seen a Morrison's. The last Morrison's I saw was at Rick's.
Yeah.
Haven't seen a Morrison's or Tesco's.
No.
There's almost no Tesco's at all. Today we went to a Sainsbury's, but almost every supermarket we've been to since we left John O'Groats has been a co-op.
Or Spar, hasn't it?
Yeah, but maybe 2 Spars in the whole journey. It's almost all been co-ops, which surprised me because that seems to be the most common supermarket in the northern section anyway. which is good because cooperatives are a bit like our IGAs in Australia, Independent Grocery Association. They're smaller, more independent stores. So there's a lot of them around, and I'm quite pleased. They do some good stuff. Another round chew it. Mm. Any questions?
No.
Oh.
No. Ben says they're not round. I'll move further because you're heading into a Morrison's Heartlands. There's going to be lots of Morrison's, are there?
Okay.
I think we're not going to be so far away from supermarkets or from shops.
Mm.
We've always had to be a bit careful up north that we didn't get too far away and run out of food.
And possibly on the lower section of this walk, we might be closer to more reasonably priced hotels. So we might be able to stop in the hotel every sort of week or 10 days, because as you know, Michelle and I are always careful on what we spend. Anyway, you know, I've talked about it before. Don't want to keep going over old stuff. Right, we're going to wrap up.
Yes, we've got to pack up. And
It's getting late. What time is it, Michelle?
it is 8:40.
8:40. Normally, Michelle and I have been in bed for 2 hours. So, because it's dark, as soon as it goes dark, there's nothing we can do in the tent. So this is quite unusual for us. We're probably just going to have a chilled evening. Might even have another bath just to sort of, because we can. Love to you all, and thank you for joining us. And if you're watching this later on, thank you again for joining us. A big thank you again, Michelle, to who?
Okay, let me just go back quickly to that one.
It's Anne Skelchi.
It's Anne Skelchi, Eleni
Siros,
and Bernie Mayer.
and Bernie Mayers. Bernie for joining us on Patreon, and Anne and Eleni for PayPal gifts. Thank you very much. And a great thank you to all you people there. Hit the thumbs up. It helps. I don't know why, but hit it anyway.
Yes.
And Michelle and I will be back walking tomorrow. And we will be in Land's End within a month and a half maximum.
Max.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
A month if we can motor. All right. So love to you all. The bottom of our hearts, thank you for joining us. I know it's a bit strange, and I do appreciate that a lot of you are used to the Steve's Kitchen cooking channel, and this is a bit of a diversion from it, but you know, it is what it is. We're having fun. We hope you're having fun too, and we will see you again very shortly. Share the love. Share the video, by the way, again with anyone that you can think of.
Like it.
Take care. Rick, if you're still there, get and visit somewhere cool on the Oculus. Be good. Sean, everybody, I should have said check out Sean's channel as well.
Yes.
And Gordon, I will check out the video also.
Jay Watson said, I just found your channel while looking for beef jerky recipes, which I will try and see you was live, so I will start to watch your adventures. Good, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. Take care. Love to you all. Be good. See you next time.
Bye.
Rick's still there. Bye.